Okay, I've had these vices sitting on this bench for a few days because we haven't used a Doosan in a few days. What we're going to use today, which means I need to clean it all up, and I wanted to give you guys a tour of all the Orange Vise stuff that I bought before I clean it up, otherwise I have to get it back out later. Anyways, I try to do these videos like as fast as I can because they're super hard to edit and they take a while, and I don't know, I just wanted to be quick about it. Okay, so summary of what we got. We got 2 single station vices. We got the pallet jaws just for one set, hard jaws for one set. These are the carriers that came on this vise. And then we got 2 pallets, some soft jaws for the Delta 4 vise, soft jaws for those vices. And that's pretty much everything. So I don't have a huge amount of experience with, well, I guess I don't have any experience with Orange Vises, but even other vices. I've used the Blue brand. They're good. I think the thing that sets most of this apart from the other vice companies or the other vices that are out there is that these are, I'm going to call them modular, because you can go from this to this very quickly, and I think that's kind of the point. One thing that I think we'll end up doing with these is actually taking these carriers off, or the jaw mounts. I don't know, I think this is the carrier technically. Anyways, these jaws come on and off like all the time, sort of depending on what you're doing, and you can do a 180 with them. So this happens to be holding soft jaws right now. If you want to put hard jaws in, you got to go on this side, and you can also put those little piranha grips in here and use this as your parallel, which I think is going to be super handy. But so there's like 3 or 4 things right there that you can do with just this one vise. Whereas a lot of vices, the rear jaw isn't detachable, and if it is, the only reason I've ever taken it off is to basically to do maintenance, to clean stuff out. But that's it. They have a huge range. I mean, you can clamp on stuff from 0 up to, I guess, 17 inches, right? 17 and a half, or however long this is. That's pretty cool. But you do need to remove this jaw from this location and actually fasten it to this location, which is what's done on this one. So, yeah, that'll be a different experience. Like I said, here's the hard jaws, some soft jaws. This, a few things unique about this is there's not a hex. You can see that. It's actually a spline, and there's a special socket that they send with. That's a spline. Hang on. Special socket that's a spline there. And I think the reason for that is if you need to change these, not the jaw top, the carriers, you have to be able to screw that spline all the way through the interior, or like the inside of the threads, through that bore. So that must be why. But that was kind of a surprise to me. I guess not a surprise, but I don't know. It was what it was. It is what it is. One thing I did not realize is that you can't just flip these jaws. 1 second. So this jaw seats down really well. It seems like you gotta give it a push that way. Anyways, so the bottom side looks like there's a little dovetail it sits on. You can't just flip these around. Like, to put it that way, to grip on more stuff, you actually have to buy a different jaw set, which I didn't know. But whatever, it is what it is. I'm sure we'll get one later, get that later. This is for the 4th axis, and this is the basic bolt-on version. Normally they have their 0-point system, which you would attach to a rotary, but they did not have a 0-point system that fit my rotary, because my rotary is, it's pretty weird. But, well, I don't know, it's got the, we took it off the machine the other day. And it's got a through bore and a pretty large plate on it, much larger than a Haas or whatever, like the 210, the common one. They have a plate for that, but not for this, obviously. So I got to make our own sort of custom plate for that. Anyways, in summary, super excited to use it. I'll show you the bottom of these pallets. So they mount on these, it's called a Delta pallet system, so I guess I would call these Deltas. They're kind of triangular. They sit right on top. fantastic. Hang on. They're also kind of heavy, apparently. Yeah, they go on right like this. And lock down super tight, so it's not going anywhere. I do like the fact that you can mount these things super close together. So here's the piece they send with, which is a very nice piece. But you don't have to worry about lining up a flange or anything with a T slot in the table, because these you can move along here anywhere. And I was just curious how close you could mount these vices together, and it's about 2 inches, whatever the width of those clamps are. And I suppose if you had T slots on your table close enough together, and you were able to stagger these, you could even potentially go down there. So anyways, we've got to get these old boys off here and put on those ones.